An anonymous employee has spoken out about the unsavoury events that went down in PSG's locker room last season. Of course, I was sceptical of the news, considering it's come out after we got defeated in the Champions League, but it's been backed up by Darjamal. And sorry if I've butchered the name, my French ain't good. But this is basically PSG's Fabrizio. He's extremely close to the club, and whatever he says is true, and he's confirmed the news, so I guess it's true. So the first report to come out was about Neymar. Essentially, it says that he clashed with one of our younger players. By younger, I mean teenagers. In training, where the younger player went to collect the ball from him, Neymar kind of pushed him, he fell on the ground, and Neymar brushed him on the head. He also mentions that he insulted Vitinha, which, isn't new. This has come out before. We've heard audio footage. It is what it is. He goes on to say that there was altercations between Hakimi, Messi and Neymar in the dressing room. Hakimi and Messi kind of got into it. Neymar went to, intervene, and Sergio Ramos went, no, I'll deal with this. Apparently Sergio Ramos was some sort of mediator. Goes on to say that Kylian Mbappe at first really, really liked Neymar. But after working with him for a while, he kind of went off him. He says that Messi was always kind and pleasant at training, always saying hello, mannered. But after a while, Neymar wasn't, and he wouldn't really interact with any of the staff or the players. He also mentions that Messi and Neymar were not too happy with Kylian Mbappe having power in the club. Which is odd coming from Neymar, I guess, because I remember when he first got here and his father had a lot of power in the club. But if I was a player, I wouldn't be happy with Kylian Mbappe either, so I'm not judging. He also says that Neymar gave PSG 2 or 3 really good seasons and then gave him the impression that he had been stuffed with money. He was no longer hungry, he didn't want to win titles, and just not that good to work with. The employee also mentions that an unnamed first team member came across Neymar in the dressing room, visibly upset. He said to this teammate that nobody understood him. A member of Tuchel's staff essentially said that Neymar was really great to work with. He was very, very dedicated to PSG and its project. But 2 people close to the club have also come out and said, yes, that was the case, but after Tuchel left, that's when it started to go downhill and Neymar started to not care. For a timeline, we're looking at the beginning of 2021. And before people try and maybe relate this to Mbappe's extension, Poch came in 2021. Mbappe didn't extend until the end of 21-22. And these problems were happening before then. But the extension obviously did not help matters at all. So yeah, that was essentially it. What I gather is things really started to go downhill between Neymar and the club after Tuchel left. I think that he was, very, very dedicated to the club in those first 2-3 years. Of course, a mixture of things, fans, personal issues, Mbappe, Messi, everything kind of derailed all of that, which I think is sad because he was an amazing player for us. And what this also tells me is the years under Gautier sucked. Like, if someone as humble as Messi was feeling the heat, then obviously the management was not doing a good job. And it really, all of this does tell me how lucky we are now to have this new project and have Luis Enrique. Because since Luis Enrique came along, the club just hasn't had that negativity around it. Yes, there's been the Mbappe leaving and blah, 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 blah. That hasn't really disturbed the dressing room at all. Players are very, very close. They respect the manager. They are on board with the project. And that's all I want to see as a fan. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the report also did say that it was Luis Enrique who told Neymar to leave. Actually didn't want him on the Japan tour at all, but Campos convinced him that we would get more money for him if he went, so whatever. But yeah, this just shows me how horrible, the energy was around the club these last few years, and I'm really happy that things are moving forward now. Ousmane Dembele suffers racial abuse from Barca fans. If you take a little wander to Ousmane Dembele's Instagram comments, you will see racist abuse from Barcelona fans. And while I am not saying it is all Barcelona fans, I am saying that it would not be surprising that fans who were arrested yesterday for chanting racial abuse at the park on Wednesday would be to blame. Not to mention the bitter history between Ousmane Dembele and Barcelona. So yeah, maybe not all Barcelona fans, but enough. And honestly, it's unacceptable. It is absolutely unacceptable to abuse a man like that for simply doing his job. Like, I get it. You're mad, you're annoyed. He left Barca for PSG. You're facing him in the Champions League. Cool, whatever. Don't racially abuse him. You don't like him, call him a coward or something. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it makes me so mad. But luckily, UEFA has opened a disciplinary case against Barcelona following the abuse. They will be looking into things, and if it is proven that there was racial abuse uttered by Barcelona fans, then Barcelona will be punished. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it will be proven because there is video evidence. But honestly, it's 2024. And why am I even surprised? Because have you seen the racist abuse that Vinicius Jr. has to face in Spain? Like, what excuse are you all going to give this time? Oh, Dembele left Barcelona in such an unsavoury fashion, so, he brought it on himself. Be quiet, you sound ridiculous. Yeah, this is absolutely awful and should not be happening to anyone. Yeah, I really hope something is done about this because Ousmane does not deserve this. Who has been the best player from each country this season? England's up first, and I've gone with Harry Kane. I know I'm going to get Bellingham and possibly Foden shouts in the comments, but I think Kane has been better than both this season. He has the European Golden Boot on lock with 32 goals, joint top scorer in the Champions League this season, broken countless Bundesliga records, second most goals scored in all competitions this season, and quite a few assists on top of that. His numbers are absolutely insane, and he's had some really, really good performances this season. Phil Foden has been inconsistent, and Jude Bellingham hasn't actually played that much in 2024. With injuries on top of numerous suspensions, he just hasn't been all that present. Whereas Kane, for the most part, has remained consistent throughout. So yeah, he edges it. Italy, I've gone with Donnarumma, being one of the best goalkeepers in the world this season. People look at his last season performances and think that in any way correlates with this season. He has been absolutely outstanding and is statistically the best shot stopper in the world. I beg, watch a game or two of his. Argentina, McAllister. I honestly don't think I need to say much. His performances speak for themselves. Been absolutely class this season, especially as of late. Portugal was tough, but I've gone with Cancelo. He's been really, really good for Barcelona this season. Attacking-wise in particular. Scoring lots of goals, being very dangerous, quite good defensively as well. But Cancelo. But all in all, have to give it to him. Spain is Rodri, no questions asked, argue with the wall. For the Netherlands, I've gone with Virgil van Dijk. Him in the Premier League this season has been outstanding, most definitely the best defender. But I must say that Van de Ven has impressed me as well. And if it wasn't for his constant injuries this season, I'd like to see where he would be. Brazil, I've gone with Paqueta or Vinicius Jr. I think Paqueta had a really, really good start to the season, but has fallen off because of injury and other reasons. Whereas Vinny had a lackluster start to the season, but has really, really improved and shown his class. So either is fine. Germany is super annoying because Kroos, Wirtz and Musiala are all within a shout. Kroos has been incredibly consistent for Real Madrid this season. Wirtz has been phenomenal for Bayer Leverkusen, and Musiala, ever since he got that tooth injury fix, has been amazing. So I'm just going to put all three because I can't decide. France is obviously Kylian Mbappe, not much needs to be said. And Belgium is Kevin De Bruyne. But yeah, those are just my personal picks on who I think have been the best this season. Who has been the best player from each club this season? And heavy on the this season, not all time, because I know some of you will be in the comments. For Arsenal, I've gone with Declan Rice. It was a toss-up between Rice and Saliba, but I think his consistency, coupled with what he has brung, how he has transformed Arsenal this season, has to go to him. For Chelsea, obviously Cole Palmer. He has been a shining light in a whole lot of darkness this season for them. Phenomenal player, phenomenal talent, will go on to do great things. Fingers crossed. For Liverpool, I have gone with Virgil van Dijk. A lot of Liverpool players have been performing to a high level this season, but I think Virgil van Dijk takes the cake. I know some people will say Mohamed Salah, but I think he has not been on the pitch enough this season to trump Virgil. Manchester City is Rodri, and if you think otherwise, you are lying to yourself. Phil Foden has been very good this season, but Rodri has the edge. He consistently shows up week in, week out, whereas there have been games where Phil Foden has been anonymous. The glue of Manchester City. United was tough, but I've actually gone with Harry Maguire. Honestly, he has impressed me and a lot of others this season with his consistency and being the backbone of that Manchester United team. I'm going to hear stuff like Mainu, and as good as he is, he just still is a little bit inconsistent. And that's to be expected. He's extremely young. Spurs is very, very difficult to pick. Their players have actually been very good this season, but I've gone with Pep Sar. Honestly, the heartbeat of that midfield and has been very lovely to watch. Very, very underrated player, actually. Shout out to Udogie and Vicario, because they have been phenomenal for Spurs too this season, and it was very hard to pick between the three. For Barcelona, I have gone with Gundogan. Barca as well were very, very hard to pick because their players have been inconsistent this season. Before Gavi's injury, I would have said him. He was by far their best player. Yamal has been absolutely phenomenal too this season. What he's doing for Barcelona is unprecedented at his age, and it is a joy to watch. But he still is a little bit inconsistent, which is to be expected because of his age. Gundogan has had that consistency this season and been very, very important for Barcelona and quite underrated. But yeah, as I said, Barcelona is hard to judge. I can already see the comments with my Madrid pick, but I've actually gone for Toni Kroos. Now, listen to me. I think Bellingham has been absolutely wonderful this season. I've particularly enjoyed him in the latter half of the season as opposed to the first half of the season, which is maybe odd for some. But there has been games, and quite a few actually, where Bellingham has not been at his best. And Toni Kroos shows up every single game. He's there. He's present. He's doing something. For his age, he has been the core of that Real Madrid midfield. Honestly, so good. So that's why he edges it, just for me personally. Bayern, Harry Kane, not much to be said, although shout out to Jamal Musiala, because his recent form, ever since he got that toothache or whatever was wrong with him fixed, he's been so good. So good. And saving the best till last, PSG, Kylian Mbappe. Not much to be said, best player in the world, argue with the wall. But yeah, these are just my personal picks, and they might change given we are coming into a crucial point of the season.